A man at a New Jersey airport was busted by TSA for trying to smuggle a turtle in his pants. After retrieving the turtle from this now pantsless man, the TSA agent said, "Aw, it won't poke its little head out." And they were not referring to the turtle. Hi, I'm Jacob, the Seattle Soy Boy. Welcome to Late News Last Night. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Now it's time for some headlines. Last week, President Trump said some creepy things at an event for women's history at the White House.
They destroyed women's spaces and even tried to replace the word mother with the term birther person. A mother became a birther person.
That's right. Trump said mothers are referred to as birther persons. Huh, that's strange. I thought this was a birther person.
Despite what certain liberal press says, that's not a birth certificate. But they could have easily come from Kenya or someplace. It's one of two things. Either he wasn't born in the country, or he doesn't have a birth certificate.
But if he prefers birther persons to be called mothers, I guess he's a real mother. But the weird didn't stop there.
We're going to have tremendous goodies in the bag for women, too. The women, between the fertilization and all of the other things that we're talking about.
Oh my God, do not accept that gift basket. There is no way Elon's nasty jizz isn't in there. But after that comment, he realized he said something more than a little awkward, and for once decided to slow his roll. Prank!
Fertilization. I'm still very proud of it. I don't care. I'll be known as the fertilization president, and that's okay. That's not bad.
Well, that seems nice. Oh my God, I just realized what that meant. Well, I guess it's true. He is the fertilization president because we are all gonna get royally f***ed by this administration. And this hilarious prank.
According to the Associated Press, the president said during a phone call he is, quote, not joking about the possibility of seeking a third term in the White House.
You guys continue to ask the president this question about a third term, and then he answers honestly and candidly with a smile, and then everybody here melts down about his answer. He said, it's not really something we're thinking about.
Don't you think he's probably kind of trolling?
I think he's probably having some fun with it, probably messing with you.
This is a president who loves to give a snake in a can to the media just to watch them open it, and he's doing that. This is another jump scare.
Why does it feel like Republicans are two-dimensional characters from a poorly written monster movie who are definitely going to die in the first 15 minutes? He's so funny. He loves doing jump scares and telling us we'll be unalived in 2 days. Oh, such a joker. We'll be... Ah! I can't believe I'm about to quote my ex, but why does everything have to be a joke to you? He literally said it's not a joke. I think they've gone deaf because they've been exposed to Judge Janine screaming for too long. Only this president would screw up the economy so bad he'd need a mulligan term. Now, just a quick break from the Trump news. Idaho and Texas have recently attempted to crack down on indecent exposure, with Idaho passing a law which bans truck nuts and other indecent toys. No toys? Who's the governor? The Meisterburger?
And the children severely punished. So be it. Down! Children of Sombertown, you will never play again.
I apologize for ruining your childhood. Really, Idaho? Are you sure you want to take on dildos? Have you forgotten what happened in New Zealand?
Stephen Joyce standing in for the Prime Minister and becoming the target of the latest Waitangi protest incident, hit with a sex toy.
Is this really the kind of protest you want? DoorDash is now allowing users to pay later for fast food orders. Uh-oh, I feel some Yo Mama jokes coming on. Yo Mama's so broke, she put a Whopper on layaway. Yo Mama's so basic, she held a memorial for Joanne's. Yo Mama's so dumb that when they put an out of order sign on the vending machine, she said, "No, you're out of order." Okay, I got that out of my system. Nintendo released details last week on their long-awaited Switch 2 console, along with many new games like Mario Kart World, where you can intentionally go off-road and roam around. Said my mom, "Ha! I was doing that before it was cool. Who sucks at Mario Kart now?" Nintendo also announced a new Zelda game called Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment, and based on the title, I assume Link will be deported to an El Salvadorian prison and learn the hardships there. But the big headline was the pricing. Fans were outraged when they discovered Nintendo Switch 2 would cost $450 and games would cost $80. And I, for one, am absolutely appalled that Nintendo thinks their fans are too blindly loyal to see that they're being exploited, which is why I will definitely be buying one as soon as they are available. And while the rest of you whiners figure out whether it's morally acceptable or not to enable this corporate gouging, I'll have already pre-ordered 3 of them and y'all can eat my Mario Kart World dust. Soon as I get Chase to allow me to open 3 more credit cards. I sure hope nothing makes these prices even higher.
The Wall Street sell-off triggered by the tariffs and trade policies announced by President Trump this week, making this the worst 2-day streak for the market since the early days of the COVID pandemic.
Tariffs on foreign cars and parts, 25% from anywhere. And then he's also announcing 10% at least tariffs on all countries. India, 26%, Japan, 24%, the EU, 20%.
Those shoes you've been eyeing could get 18% more expensive. And that sweater you had in your cart, 17% pricier. And with 104% tariffs hitting China, iPhone 16 Pro Max could jump by another $350.
Now I'm gonna have to put my DoorDash on layaway for the whole month. And don't even think about suggesting that I stop using DoorDash to save money. What do you suggest? I walk 400 yards to the nearest teriyaki place? I can't go out there. What if there's bees? Anyway, what are we doing with these nonsensical across-the-board tariffs? Hasn't that already failed like a bunch of times in history? Let's see some right-wingers talk about these tariffs.
Don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't be a panicking. That's what the White House says.
There's going to be some short-term pain, but it's going to end up saving our country, and we believe that in our very heart and soul. And so we are not a panic publican, a panican.
Ooh, a panican, as in a Republican who realizes if they question Trump's policies, they will be primaried or deplatformed by Republicans. Really? A panic publican? Was that the best you could do? Just off the top of my head, a rut-row Republican would have been a better dissent-quashing nickname. I like this guy. He amuses me. Make more funny, Rumble Jester.
When did you decide to change your party? When did your balls fall off? How about that? How weak are you? And how immoral are you? That you just don't care about the future of your children and your children being slaves to communists.
Hey, don't kink shame me. I mean the people who would find being a communist slave very arousing. Buying avocados from Mexico doesn't make us communists. It makes us basic, which is far worse. If being a communist means I can afford guac, then you can call me a guac communist. Now, I'm bored of this podcast clown who can't be bothered to prepare 3 graphs before his show. I demand a higher quality of gestures to downplay the market crash. Make the Fox pundits dance.
More than 50 countries have reached out to the president to begin a negotiation.
There doesn't have to be a recession.
Army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones. That kind of thing is going to come to America. It's going to be automated.
Hooray! We take the economy to get our obsolete jobs back. Thank you, President Trump.
Now everybody says, oh, we have these flat screen TVs. Gotta have our cheap flat screen TVs. Okay. Does the guy really need $50 off a flat screen when his factory left?
He's like, nobody needs affordable TVs. Who would want to watch TV? There's a crazy straw-sucking psycho with too much hair product on my TV who keeps defending a bad economy.
President Trump is doing what presidents have refused to do for the last 40 or 50 years.
I wonder why.
And you know what? I don't really care about my 401k today.
Well, I wouldn't mind taking it off your hands. I could really use that. Anyway, this whole thing takes the everything is fine meme to a whole new level. They're on fire and they're just like, watch me burn. That's alright, because I like the way it hurts. And you'll never guess what Trump did a few days after that.
After the president announced he is increasing tariffs on China to 125%, while pausing all reciprocal tariffs on U.S. trade partners for the next 90 days. Pause, yes, but those reciprocal tariffs are still going to be at 10%.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit
afraid. Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause.
Huh, that guy sounds like a real Anakin Skywalker. Oh boy, I can't wait to see Republicans defend this one.
But this really isn't a pivot. I see this as a victory.
It took great courage for him to stay the course until this moment.
Imagine that. Trump was right again.
Trump announced a brilliant move to pause the higher tariffs.
He made, I think, the absolutely right, decisive call to go with really the bigger move rather than announce 1 or 2 trade deals, but go with the bigger move so that everybody in the world understands that he means what he says.
Brave Sir Robin ran away. No! Bravely ran away. Brave Sir Robin turned about and gallantly he chickened out.
What happened to the countries that were f***ing our economy? What about the trade deficits? What about jobs moving back to this country? What about trust? What about us? Sorry, I got carried away. Can we go back to this?
So that everybody in the world understands that he means what he says.
Wow, that is some B+ gaslighting. The whole world now knows this is the boy who cried tariff. Last week, Cory Booker did an impressive marathon 25-hour speech on the Senate floor, beating the previous record held by Strom Thurmond, a prominent segregationist. Well, now we know how Booker was able to pull down Rosario Dawson, because, he can last a long time. Oh, you can't be more disappointed than I already am with myself! That's all the news I have for this week. Tune in next Saturday for a segment from Real America Patriot Truth News. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, a spoonful of comedy helps the news go down.